Hey up YouTube! Hey up YouTube! I'm in Denali National Park, and Denali is right there. See my finger? With my finger there in the clouds. Very cool. Got these cameras ever, so I use my other one.
And obviously this is more important if we have wildlife right next to the road compared to if we're looking at a caribou half-mile out into the tundra. Out the window being 12 o'clock. If you come about to your in between 10 and 11 o'clock position on the horizon, you can see one mountain over there that is all brown, but it's got some streaks of snow running down the face. And just to the right of that, what looks like a cloud is actually part of the mountain. And I'll pull over here just in 1 second. There's a nice turnout, and we'll talk about it in depth. It's kind of hard to see, but there is mountain inside of that cloud. If you still have your screens down, I will zoom in on this caribou with the camera, and that'll make it a little bit easier to see.
They're just down there.
So it's just out here at 9 o'clock, right across the river. Where are you? Where are you?
Oh, you can see it.
Should be right there.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Fairly just bus traffic over here. And so just up ahead, we're gonna get to meet an honest-to-goodness National Park Service representative. I don't work for the government. I work for the concessionaire of the park. So we'll have a Park Service representative. She's going to come on board and give you the official welcome to Denali National Park from the Park Service.
Hi. My name's Skylar, and I just want to welcome you all further into the park and soon to the unpaved section of the road. As you travel through, pay attention to the landscapes that you'll be seeing, because it's likely that you haven't seen anything like it unless you've been to Alaska before. Also, you're traveling through designated wilderness now. Hopefully by the end of your trip you all have your own definition of wilderness or know what it means to you, but in the federal sense it's the most amount of protection that we can provide to land set aside for conservation. So really cool to get the opportunity to travel further in, especially on a dirt road or gravel road. And also keep in mind that as a national park, it's public land, meaning that it belongs to all of you as well. So help us take care of it. If you accumulate any trash, putting those in the proper places really helps keep this beautiful place beautiful. I hope you all enjoy the weather and enjoy the rest of your tour. Thank you. Thank you.
It's really curvy, and there's a lot of places that the road isn't wide enough for two vehicles to be in at the same time. So everyone has to know where it's safe to pass each other, where you're going to have to pull over and wait. So safety is the #1 reason for traffic restrictions in the park.
Right over there.
And we're starting to get another look at Denali near 10 to 11 o'clock position. The clouds are starting to lift up even more. And we've got about a month and a half ago, that animal right there had no antlers. But you can also see it's not very clean looking, and that's because it's filled with everything that was inside the glacier. So a lot of sand and silt and gravel in that water. Not very good to drink. Yes, correct. And Teklenika is an Athabascan word, just like Denali is. Denali means the high one or the great one in Athabascan. Teklenika means water amulet river. It's wildlife related, but on the left hand side of the bus, at the top of this little hill, you can see what looks like some scientific equipment, and that is indeed what it is. And about your 11 o'clock. And this is a spot where it's very similar to the landslide that we're dealing with that's closed down the road up ahead, and I'll talk about that when we get closer. board is from the Rocky Mountains, so you're probably amazed at how low that number is. And those mountains, you don't get above the tree line until at least 10,000 feet, sometimes more, like even 12,000 feet. But here it happens right here, right at this 3,200 foot elevation. So our big trees like the spruce we were seeing back in the forest, they need warmer temperatures than what they're going to get at this elevation in order to grow. And that's kind of one of the things that dictates how high that they can grow on the hillside. So we are in the Alpine now. Probably also going to start to see some of my favorite animal in the park, and that's the Arctic ground squirrel. We'll keep watch for those. I think I might even see one right here. 9 o'clock position. I do have a bus right behind me, so I don't want to sit here for terrifically long, and we will see more of these guys along the way. But they are ridiculously cute. And I promise you I'll get one on the camera at some point so you can get a really close look at an Arctic ground squirrel. The road. This is letting hikers and campers know that this next 5 miles, you can hike through on the road, but you cannot hike off the road here. But check out the sign. This is the work of a grizzly bear. Yeah, I don't know what the bears have against these signs that the Park Service put out, but every single time they put out a new sign, within a couple weeks, a grizzly bear chews it to bits. To the point where Park Service has one employee and it's his only job to make signs. In that snow on the hillside at about 11 o'clock, there's a couple of caribou taking a walk across the snow. Underneath that big round cloud, there's a little bit of mountain sticking out, which totally counts.
You go forward just a bit.
Hey, you guys feel free to stand up.
Cute.
Pull up a little, yeah. How about there? Might run right up here onto the road.
There's 2 caribou on the ice.
Wow. No moving. Oh, I'm scared. Oh, she's coming. You scared it?
Somebody went right. Scared him away.
Typical bush drivers.
Sorry.
Oh, great. Adventure of the day.
He's closing. He's worried. Oh yeah. On the mountain.
Oh, right there.
Just kind of running around.
And lichen, and that's what you're going to find on the mountain side. So typically caribou tend to be higher up than moose, for example, because moose eat the willow bushes, and there's actually a little stand of willows. That's the bushes that have kind of the light green leaf on them and a little bit taller, almost like trees. Those are willows. So in through here you could just as easily see a moose as you could a caribou, because there is willow around. But they don't necessarily go to different elevations because of the weather. That's more of a food thing. Still ahead of us right now, but if you look in about your 10 o'clock position at this mountain, 11 o'clock, this mountain that you see out here is called Polychrome Mountain. You can see the road goes up Polychrome Mountain and then around the edge. And so we do have 92 miles of road available most years, but not this year. This year, just on the opposite side of Polychrome Mountain, there's a big landslide. in the bushes, and then I'll stop so that you guys can take some pictures. Everybody wave to Sophie.
Hi, Sophie.
So all these folks that you see walking the dogs work for the national park, and they've got a great... He's trying to have a moment there. They have a great program set up for park employees and the dogs, and you can sign up to sponsor a sled dog for the summer, and then you're responsible for walking your sled dog